Hey guys, welcome to Kurt's RPM Garage, and this is my 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning Pro. Wait a second. This can't be good. Hey guys, welcome to Kurt's RPM Garage, and welcome to my garage. First off, I want to apologize about my Corvette. It's absolutely filthy right now, but try not to pay any attention to that. It's been raining for the last couple weeks, so haven't really had an opportunity to take it out in a while. But back to the Lightning. So unfortunately, I've had a couple issues with it, and they've been quite major, unfortunately. Pretty close to as bad as you can get. If you're a Lightning owner, you've been following the community, you may have heard about these battery module failures. Most people have had one. I now have had two failures on two separate occasions. Not great, unfortunately. So going back a bit, my truck was built November 2022. I picked it up December 2022, and it was great for 8-9 months, whatever it was. And then unfortunately my first issue arose. This was about September 2023. I basically walked out to my truck one morning after having parked it, no problem before, and this happened.
Hey guys, so bad news, we got a problem with the Lightning. Went to charge it this morning, got a fault. So I switched the charger, got another fault, switched the charger to a 110 and got another fault. So wondering what's going on. So I went in and turned it on, got a bunch of fault codes. So I already called the dealer. So yes, I got in this morning, went to press the power button, and this is what happened. So we got service vehicle soon, stop safely, service vehicle soon, obviously. Down to 25% power, I got some wrenches thrown. No idea what's going on. I've seen some other guys in the forums that have had similar issues. I don't remember what the issue ended up being, but I pulled the 12 volt. It's really all you can do, and it didn't resolve anything. So called the dealer, gonna head down there now. I hate going to the dealer, but for warranty work, this is the one thing where you have to do it. And yeah, we'll see what they say, but they're pretty backed up, so it might be a couple days. I might be without my Lightning for a while, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's something minor, but yeah, unfortunately it's a brand new vehicle with a new technology for Ford, so not totally unexpected, but we'll see what happens.
All right, so clearly my truck did not want me to drive it, but that's exactly what I did. I hopped in, drove it down to the dealer. 25% power is enough to kind of cruise around town. I was more worried about it just stopping all of a sudden, but luckily that didn't happen. I made it down there no problem and gave it to the dealer. They weren't really sure what was going on, and they were also very backed up, which really led to this big timetable that I was dealing with. I'll just come out and say it. It took them 35 days to figure it out and fix it. The first few days, the truck was just kind of sitting there, and then on day 4 or 5, I think it was, they finally call me and they're like, hey, we think you just charged it wrong. No idea what that means, but they reset it and said everything's working, it's good now, come down and get it. So that's what I did. I went down to the dealer to pick it up later that day and signed the dotted line. Everything's covered under warranty, obviously, and then hopped in the truck and nothing was fixed. Everything was still lit up on the dash, 25% power, all that kind of stuff. So didn't even drive it a foot, just hopped out, gave them the keys back and told them to try again. They were pretty upfront with me. They said, yeah, we haven't really dealt with this before, so we're going to have to call Ford Corporate, their BEV team, I think it is, to figure this out. All the while, too, my dealer did take care of me. They gave me an F-150 with a Coyote engine, which was much appreciated. So I was generally well taken care of during this. But a few days later, they call me. They say, hey, we talked to Ford's BEV team, and basically we figured out how to diagnose it, and you have a failed battery module. Just to kind of elaborate on that, the Ford F-150 Lightning has a main battery, a high voltage battery, which is made up of several modules. Don't quote me on this, but I think there's like 6 or 8 or something like that. And that also depends if you have a standard or an extended range. And basically one of those modules is filled with cells, and one of those cells can have a manufacturing defect causing the voltage to go higher or lower, which can cause the entire battery to freak out. And to fix it, you have to replace one of those 6 or 8 modules, whatever it is, once they find it, obviously. So that's what they had to do. They ordered a new module. It took a couple weeks to get in, and then the dealer only had one EV tech, I guess you call him, and he was backed up another week or so. So by the time everything was all said and done, from me dropping it off to picking it up, it was 35 days. Long time. Again, I was taken care of. I had a truck to drive around in. Um, Gas here is pretty expensive, and I drive a lot, so I mean, I went through a couple $100s in fuel easily during that time. Probably $500 or $600 of fuel. But it is what it is. Um, Got the truck back, and it worked fine for 6 months or so. I think this was in September, and then about 2 weeks ago, it happened again, as you can see here.
So I came out, turned on the truck, and this is what I got. Service vehicle soon, stop safely. Yeah, this is the second time this has happened. Very unfortunate. She's got to go to the dealer and probably get another battery module replaced. Well, I'll see you in a month, F-150. Jesus.
Yeah, as you can see, exact same symptoms, similar story. I drove it down to the dealer, except this time the dealer was much more prepared. The guy I spoke to, the service advisor, he was well aware of this. I mean, they practiced on my truck, but I believe they had a couple others also come in. He seemed to imply they had parts on hand and they could probably fix it in a week or two, which I was very skeptical of, to say the least. But nevertheless, they gave me an F-150 with a power boost, took that home, and just waited. And all the while I was tracking the truck on the Ford Pass app, I could see where it was. And for about 7 days or so, it was just sitting kind of in the back of the parking lot, probably not getting worked on at all, I imagine. And then it was probably end of the day 7, I saw they moved it kind of into the work area, into a garage more or less. And I was like, all right, here we go. They're finally going to work on it. They're probably going to call me in the next couple of days, say they figured it out. It needs a new module, obviously. But luckily on day 8, very much to my surprise, I got a call and said, hey, truck's done. We swapped out a module. You're good to go. We got everything taken care of. So come on and pick it up. That was great. 8 days sounds like a lot, but compared to the last time which I was preparing myself for, 8 days was very fast, and I really much appreciate that. If they weren't so backed up, they probably could have got it done in, I don't know, 2 or 3 really, if they had parts on hand, more or less. But yeah, so I was very impressed with the dealer that second time. The truck, pretty disappointed, frankly. Having 2 failures is quite bad. Um, I'll go over it later, but I mentioned it before. There was some paperwork from Ford saying 4% of trucks are affected, and in that little blurb, it mentions that the trucks could have multiple modules fail, which is exactly what happened to me. Not ideal. I kind of wish Ford replaced the entire battery when they were working on it, because just kind of put this whole thing behind us. If these modules were in a big batch that is failing, then technically I still have, like, I don't know, 5 or 4 of those modules still in my truck that could fail. I don't know. I'm hoping they don't. Statistically, they probably won't, but you never know. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if they replaced the whole thing. But nevertheless, the truck has an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty, so I'm pretty well covered for now. I've only got 19,000 on the truck, a little over that. The first module failed at about 14,000. So I'm sticking with the truck for now. I do love the truck. Even while driving these loaners, I was just always disappointed in them. They just have, after having lived with the Lightning for a while, it's just, the instant torque is just so nice to have, that it just makes these gas trucks just feel so sluggish. But nevertheless, that's pretty much the whole story. For the rest of this video, I'm just going to touch on some of the documents that Ford sent me. From the invoices and some of these recalls that have to do with this. And a lot of this was under a recall, unfortunately. I just had to get it done when my battery actually failed. So yeah, let's jump into that and then we'll get this thing wrapped up. Okay, so here was the first invoice that I received after the initial replacement. I believe there was another sheet that also had the prices listed that Ford paid out on this. I think it was something like $12,000 or $15,000. I can't find that sheet at this point, unfortunately, but it was something to that effect. So another one of these, and Ford will have fully repaid out what I paid for the entire truck. So yeah, that's definitely saying something. So down here we see the initial symptoms: 25% power, yada yada yada. And then below that, we have the 23H01 recall. That's what they called it at this time. So 23H01 recall. So they were definitely aware of it. That's all that's really important here. Let's jump over to the sheet that Ford actually sent out right after I sent my truck in. All right, so this notice here came out on September 13th, 2023, and I believe I dropped my truck off for the first battery module replacement September 9th. So this just came out 4 days after that. I think it was a little bit after that that I actually received it, but my truck was well on its way to getting this done, and this made a lot of sense at the time. So they call it Customer Satisfaction Program, or CSP 23B57. And then the trucks affected, it was basically all of them at the time, all virtually all 2022s and all 2023s as well, beginning June 10th, 2022. My truck was one of the first groups or first couple weeks of 2023s being built, and it was built November 2nd, 2022. And I think they started 2023 production like the last week of October. So the population of trucks affected was 36,000. Reason some of the affected vehicles may have high voltage battery modules that can cause diagnostic trouble code DTC POB24. Yada yada yada. The battery just freaks out when one of these cells goes bad. So, and then I just wanted to go down here and just reiterate anything for anyone getting spooked by this. While this really sucks if your truck is affected, it's probably pretty unlikely that most of them are going to have this issue. Down here on page 9, they list it as less than 4% of the affected vehicle population is expected to require one or more high voltage battery modules need to be replaced. Not too bad. So you have a 96% chance that your truck is going to be fine. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, mine was in this batch of trucks that was affected, and not only did it affect one module, it's affecting two. Very, very unfortunate, and I really hope this can get resolved sooner rather than later. All right, and finally, this is my newest invoice. It's 2 pages. I just wanted to go over both of them really quickly. So the first page, the most important thing is just the date, 2/22/24. That's when I dropped it off to get looked at. And then while it's in, there's actually a bunch, not a bunch, but there's like probably half a dozen recalls and things that they can do. So I was like, well, you're going to have it for a while. Might as well get all that done while it's here. Some of them are really dumb, like the install new dash mat here at the bottom. Something about keeping liquids from spilling inside the dash. And then a lot of them are like there's a sensor for the 12-volt battery that needs to be replaced, and something to do with the high voltage battery as well. I think it's on the next page. All right, now page 2, we can see a couple more of these recalls. Something about a stuck charge port, high voltage battery module replacement. That sounds familiar. And then the 12-volt battery monitor sensor needs to be replaced. And then here you can see this is my symptoms once again: 25% power, wrench, stop safely now, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Sorry for the wardrobe change. I actually filmed those other sections the day before my truck arrived, not knowing it was only a day away. So I'm just going to keep this going and we'll just dive right in. But this is the final invoice I got when I picked up my truck. We can see down here 23B high voltage battery module replacement. They call it a recall, BECM update. They did that at the same time. That's part of the recall. They did a battery health report, and then you can see here it says they replaced array. Again, I believe that's just a battery module, maybe with a couple other things, but they did that, update that, and you can see here the part numbers that they actually used. The array assembly is what it calls that, and then a couple little things, and then some of these other things that were replaced or fixed that were recalls and whatnot, like this battery monitor sensor. That's just for the 12 volts, I believe, and then a few other little things. There's a date, 3/1. That's when I picked it up. So yeah, that's where we're at. Let's jump right into the outro and let's get you guys out of here. All right, guys, that's more or less everything I got for you. That's pretty much the whole story with the unfortunate tale of my F-150 Lightning and the problems it's had. Real bummer, definitely. So all I can say now is don't forget to like and subscribe. I got a few more upgrade videos coming out in the future. I'll definitely update you guys if anything else comes up, or if it doesn't, I'll have a video for that. And if you have had any problems with your Lightning, go ahead and jump down in the comments. Let me know. If your truck's working great, also let me know. I do expect this video to probably get quite a few haters in the comments. I got a lot of those in my early videos, and this video probably won't be any different. But it is what it is. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.